like this number. Don't you know he's listening? The 13. He's here.
You have entered the 13, a place where real stories about music, touring, and the beyond are told. Music does something to us. We all experience it in our own way. It can affect our senses, transport us through time, and release emotions. On this podcast, we will talk with people about the power of music and the beyond. What does the beyond mean? Let's find out together. Turn on your metronomes because this time is about to be tracked. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 13. I'm your host, Ryan 13, and on today's episode, we have Gabe from American Fangs. Gabe, how are you doing?
Doing well, man. Lovely. Thank you for having me today.
All right, so I got a few questions. First of all, y'all kind of stopped playing there for, I don't know, 6 years or something. And I heard a rumor that you got a show coming up in August.
We do, August 19th at White Oak Music Hall upstairs with Heavy Thoughts, awesome band, and Paris Green, another awesome band. So it'll be us three. We're headlining, and it's a show after 6 or 7 years, it seems.
That's awesome, man. The last time I saw your social media stuff, it was like right after Hurricane Harvey. You guys had to cancel a show. And then I don't know if you played any more shows after that, but it seemed like right after that, everything kind of stopped. Was there a reason, and something you could talk about, or just life?
No, life, there's nothing necessarily off limits. So, I think we were doing a few shows. We played like a Conroe Air show, which was really fun, but very dismal because it got rained out. And then I think we did a few shows, and we did one. We were playing with Candlebox.
Wow.
At Rise Rooftop before they actually built the roof up there.
Right.
And that was probably our last show playing. I mean, we never like hung it up, but we just, like I said, we kind of had to go back into the world and live for a little bit.
Really?
And and that's kind of what happened. I mean, that's not why we stopped playing, but
sure.
But that's what happened at that point during that last show.
Okay, right on. Yeah, I mean, my band Razor 13, we never really officially hung anything up. It was just like, oh, I have no money. I need to go to, actually work for a little while. And then now 13 years later, I'm still working. Damn, that was a mistake. Don't grow up, kids. It's a trap.
It is.
So, okay, we got a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about, but one of the things I was thinking about just before we started was the last time you and I saw each other in person, and correct me if I'm wrong, but was in Milwaukee at Shank Hall, where I was setting up Doug Pinnick's gear, and I see your ass walk through the front door in the middle of Milwaukee. You guys are on tour and apparently opened up for King's X that night, right?
We did. They actually hooked us up because we had a day off. I think we were doing like the Milwaukee Summerfest at the time, and it's not like we were opening for anyone out there. We met Kiss. We saw Chevelle, who are awesome dudes, and a bunch of other bands. But we had some time off, and we were like, "Oh, Doug's in town. Let's go see if we can hop on a show."
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember like if we were good, were we bad, but those were like the really early days of Fangs, and all we wanted to do was be on the road. I mean, I think truthfully, most bands only want to be on the road. So
I just remembered feeling so like, what the fuck are you doing here, dude?
Yeah, dude.
Two Houston guys running into each other in the middle of Milwaukee. That was so cool. And you guys were great. I have a great memory of watching you guys on the side stage and then trying to make sure Doug's guitars basses didn't, melt. Okay. So speaking of times we've hung out together, one of the times before that was at a Morningside Drive show. It was after your CD release party, and you and me end up in a van chugging SoCal out of the bottle. Do you have any memory of that? Editing room, Ryan interjecting. I meant Southern Comfort. That's why he talks about Southern Comfort. I don't know why I said SoCal. Okay, back to the episode. Bye.
What I do remember is back in those days and with Morningside, we discovered Southern Comfort too. So that was like the drink we were drinking at the time. I mean, try to drink it now, it's pretty tough. Sure. But I'd take one for the road anyway. But yeah, dude, I do remember that, and I don't remember the CD release, but I remember those days of just nothing but bands. It was so awesome. It was just bands all weekend. that was the thing to do. Just get out, go see bands, go play shows, and yeah, super fun, man.
Yeah, that was at a. Could you remember the name of the pub? It was over there off of Huffmeister. It's gone.
Dude, that
now.
was that was Sidecar Pub.
Sidecar Pub.
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
Man, those were the days. I mean, that place was awesome. I wonder what's there now.
I don't know. Like, I think I've driven by it a few times, but because it's not there, I just don't glance and to see what's in its place. But yeah, man, that's way back. I'm glad I remembered that the name of that place.
Yes, I'm glad you did too, because I've been trying to. I've done it on a few podcasts. I'm like, yeah, that plays off Huffmeister, and everyone's looking at me like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
Yeah, if you lived in Houston or Texas for a while, specifically Houston and Katy and all the neighboring areas, you know, you've grown up and seen them come and go. You know, a ton of awesome venues, Engine Room,
Fitzgerald's, Jet Lounge.
Fitzgerald's was like the newest old building to go. That was pretty recent, you know, and that sucked because after a while, yeah, we were like, man, we should have figured out how to buy that place ourselves, because now we miss having a joint like that. And there's plenty of other new spots like The End and obviously White Oak, but there was something about Fitz that was just very special. And now it's a parking lot.
Now, dude, it was so special. I've seen so many bands there, like including some of yours, and like I think I saw Lower there.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the greats played there, from Pantera, Nirvana, Stevie Ray, and you know, countless others. Hip hop acts, jazz acts, country, you name it. It's super awesome place, a historical landmark, and I don't know if anybody would know these days.
Dude, I saw Lizzie Borden played at Zelda's downstairs.
No shit, Zelda's, dude.
With Doug Pennick, and Doug was on mushrooms.
Dude, man, Doug. Shout out to that guy, man. What a wonderful guy.
Yeah, he's a great dude. He sent me a Snapchat this morning. So, do you remember partying at Jerry? Speaking of the guys in King's X, do you remember partying at Jerry Gaskell's house when he was on tour?
100%. 100%. It was like, I think I was probably 20 or 21. I think I was 21 because I remember bringing like beers and pizza.
Yeah, you were the one who would bring the stuff.
Yeah, dude. And that was so fun because they had like, Geek had all the gear set up in the living room, and we could just jam out, drink, take shots, and just man,
go to town.
Yeah, I love all those guys. Joey Gaskell, Trent Moss, Jeremy. Freaking love those dudes, man.
Yeah, dude. Johnny, I remember it right here. It's hard to see. Geek first vocal take on cassette, because back then we recorded everything on Tascam 8 tracks.
Yep, sure did, man. I think I've got my high school band Vertical 360 on a tape somewhere here in my house. But yeah, dude, I remember partying hard over there, and also wondering, how are you guys able to do this?
Yeah,
how did you manifest this house? There's no adults, and we used to just rage. It was fun.
Yeah, dude. I was in my high school band Grimoire. We thought we were hot shit. We played thrash metal, right? So we were like, oh, yeah, we were the elitist metal types, you know, like you don't listen to Metallica, bro.
Right.
Like, and then Joey walks in the door with my buddy John Paul and some of the other dude. I think Jeremy was with him, and it's nighttime. We would play at night at in like above my parents' garage or whatever. And they were like, can we play? I'm like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. And Joey gets up there and plays, and I'm used to a thrash metal drummer. Joey gets up there and plays some Deftones shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, dude, Joey's so fucking good. Jeremy too, man. I miss those guys. We used to hang out all the time. I miss you too. We all, you know, life happens. We spread out. I'm in Kingwood.
Sure does.
There.
Absolutely, man. Good times though.
Yeah, absolutely. So I watched a video of you guys at Download Festival.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Out there in England. Huh?
Yeah. How was that?
That was amazing. That was our second time taking a trip overseas too. And it was a blast. I mean, the UK and it's just another world over there. And not to say that, you know, in America, people don't appreciate music, but it's just shoved in our face so much.
Yeah.
And I can imagine over there, they have the same propaganda, but they love rock. They love music, but I'm talking about rock music, metal, punk, alternative. they're just eating it up out there still. So it was amazing. It was a super long day, super hot day, ended with watching like Muse and Slipknot.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, it was fun. We were really trying hard at that time to sort of, break away from a lot of our, business dealings. Fang started off as truthfully like an art project. Like, oh, let's figure out, we want to write stuff like this. I mean, you saw Morningside Drive.
Yep.
That was kind of leaning more towards emo and pop. And I love singing, I love performing, and I love ballads and just sing-alongs. But after that band, I just really wanted to hone in on something with a little bit more raggedy edges. Sure. And with that pop sensibility. But again, we really, it became a monster of its own with all different lineups all the time. And again, it led us to the UK. And when we got back from the UK, it led to, 2 years of playing shows and paying off debt, stuff like that exists even when you're in a band.
Yep.
And it's basically ended with like a rained out show. And we're like, well, I'll see you guys when I see you. And 7 years later, we're going to play a show. So
yeah, hell yeah. But speaking of Europe, that photo right there that I took, that Trent Moss got credit for, but I took it. That was in Wolverhampton, England. And
wow,
the crowd of King's X over, the crowds over, like you were saying about just the crowds over there, they just appreciate music so much. So King's X will pack an engine room. So like I don't even go to clubs anymore, but just remember the engine room, 500 people are fit in there. Right. But go over there, 2,000 people, they just pack the place every single time. And the fact that they love music and it's in every pub, like from down to the ground, like new band that just started yesterday playing, everybody's out there watching. I don't know what it is and I don't know why it is, but every time I've gone over there, I've just had an amazing time.
Same here, man. We after our first trip there, we were almost convinced we were going to just move over there. We were going to take our whole band and just go try it over there instead. Yeah, it was really fun.
Dude, I mean, where all did you go? Like, did you go over Europe? I mean, like Germany?
No, we didn't. We didn't make it there. We were like Portsmouth, Ireland, Scotland, London. We just did sort of the string of dates, which is wild because you can kind of get to all of these towns, 2-3 hours. It's like driving to Austin.
Right.
Whereas here in Texas, if you want to get to another major hot spot, you're flying or driving many hours. So that was really cool about the UK. Our first trip over there was with Papa Roach too. So they brought us out there. Yeah, it was really cool.
My word, dude, that Papa Roach, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
We met, we didn't even meet them. I think we met a UK agent who became our agent. Hey, Bex, we love you still. And Bex, I believe, might have been their agent. And they were like, hey, we like this band. Can they come out? And so we did a string of shows out there for about 2 or 3 weeks. And it was gnarly, man. And Papa Roach is 100% the truth. Watching them every night, you would be surprised. They've got hits for every year for the past 20-25 years. They're an amazing band, man.
Yeah, no kidding. And I remember when that first hit came out, I was in high school, and I was in that thrash metal band, the Elitist band. And I was like, they stole an Iron Maiden riff. This is bullshit. And I was like, fuck this band. And then I was like, all right, yeah, they're kind of good. And then I was like secretly listening to them at my house when no one was around.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, man. They were super gnarly. I was actually really surprised because I hadn't been listening to them. Like my taste for loud music was different during Fangs.
Sure.
And watching them, they brought me back down to earth, and I learned a lot from watching them too. But yeah, it's funny how you were talking about how everyone over there in the UK is jamming. We would go into like some pubs after hours, and there's no bands. There's just music over the intercoms. It would be like Killing in the Name is playing, and there would be pockets of people in a circle just singing the songs, like singing in a circle, like dun, 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 and it would just get bigger and everybody get crazy as it got more hype. And everywhere we went, that was going on. It didn't matter what song it was. Killing in the Name, fucking Eagle Eye Cherry. They would be a packed room. You can't even move, and everyone is singing the oldest Eagle Eye Cherry song you can think of. And you'd be like, I haven't heard this song in 20 years. And over here, they're fucking mosh pitting to it. So it was eye opening. It was pretty flabbergasting, man.
Dude, that's so cool. I wish I could go back. The last time I was over there was 2011 with King's X, and yeah, it's just everything about being over there. I don't know if it's just different. I love being here. I love America. I love where I'm at. I love Texas.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just I don't know. It's just fucking cool over there.
Yeah, somebody might be able to articulate it better than you and I can, but
Sure.
100%, dude. It's just you can feel it. They feel it. They want it. They're not like jaded by it. They're not like, oh, you're just doing 4 on the floor all day.
Right.
They just love it, man. It's wonderful. It's a great feeling.
Yeah. Speaking of jaded, you're right. Like you become really cynical when you're in the music industry. And then like, I haven't been in the music industry at all in a decade. So I've just been, but I still maintain this, like, I see what they're doing, like,
yeah,
because you've seen behind the curtain, how it works. That
right.
My buddy, I don't know, Sal, I don't know, he may know some stuff about music, but he just knows what he likes. So he may if something pops up and he likes it, he just likes it. But I could like it, but for some reason, like, I see what they're doing there. That's and you break things down, and it's not
right.
And
we know too much.
We know too much. It kind of takes the joy out of it sometimes. I mean, not really, but there's a piece that you don't really think about. Like you start over analyzing it and stuff. So I wrote on some of my notes. I wrote these notes like several weeks ago. But for everyone who's listening and watching, me and Gabe have been trying to link up for a little while. And this is what my buddy Brandon Thomas over at Expanding Reality calls divine timing. Everything's going to just line up when it lines up. And that's just how it goes.
Absolutely.
And so we finally, you remember Brandon, he was in PM Theory. You remember that band?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah, like absolutely. Ryan Girth, Eric Girth, all those guys.
Dude, we were just talking about them at our rehearsal earlier this morning about potentially rehearsing in their rehearsal space before the show for a few, just to get a little bit more space. But shout out to those guys too, man. Known them for a while. The Girth brothers, man.
The Girth. I've invited them on. They've agreed. We just haven't set up a time yet. They I love those guys. And if you guys are watching, I'm definitely making y'all chug the Guinness thing that y'all do, which is still hilarious 20 years later.
What are they chugging? Guinness? What?
Yeah, they like
I want in.
It's like the Russian, what do they call it? I'm so stupid. It's the Irish car bomb, I think. They like,
oh, dude.
So put that shit down, dude. The first time I saw Girth do it, Ryan, was when him and me lived. Well, I don't know if we lived there, but we had girlfriends that lived off of Ella Lane and Gessner.
Yeah.
Right there by right behind Hooters, and that like, he was like, this is an Irish car bomb. I was like 21, like fresh, he was like, here you go. And I was like, what do you do with it? He was like, chug it.
Yeah, dude. So I got a story about that only a handful of people know and believe.
Okay.
But back in the early Fangs days, we discovered the Irish car bombs too.
Yeah.
And we drank a lot. And one night, me and the drummer Micah Miller, we were out just rehearsed, drinking, and I took 3 Irish car bombs. And a buddy of ours had already taken 3, and they're like, man, well, you can beat his record. So it turned into 6. 6 turned into 16 within two hours. And I woke up not dead, which was good. But yeah. So I can do an Irish car bomb, but I won't do 16 or even 3 ever again. But
yeah.
That'll take you over the top for sure.
For sure, dude. So one of these things I wrote down here was, God, I love the Houston music scene, and it hasn't like it's changed, and you can tell, but you can tell. I don't know how to explain this. You can tell a band that has the Houston vibe. I don't know what that means, but I think you might. So like this guy, for instance, this guy, Jesse White, who's been on the show. What's up, Jesse? He's from Beaumont, but he's writing some new material right now. And I was listening to his vocals and his guitar playing, and it reminded me of Houston bands from the 90s. And
nice.
I in his interview, I was like, dude, I wrote Houston vibes when I was taking notes for the show. And like, there's Houston vibes in bands from Houston and or the surrounding areas. And like, I don't know how people can tell this, but I sure as fuck can. Like I walk in, I'm like, oh, they're from Houston,
Right. What could that be, man? Is it the ZZ Top DNA in us that we like riffs, we like wild, we like
it's
grimy,
riffs, it's
but we
vocals,
like pop sensibility,
it's also what I grew up around, watching bands like you, or even bands from Louisiana like Choke, like we're in that, maybe it's the Gulf Coast vibes, I don't know, but like they have there's a vocal there's what was trending when I was a kid that permeates through shit now, where I'm like, Houston band,
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Let's talk musical processes.
All right,
that's a word. First of all, before we get there, are you guys writing any new tunes, or are you just rehearsing for the show?
We're rehearsing for the show first and foremost, but there's, in lieu of rehearsing for this show, we've come across a lot of the stuff we were writing before we sort of took this break.
Sure.
And I mean, it's probably, 15, 20 songs deep worth of material that they range, but we were like, wow, we were really, really trying. And truthfully, it was probably me that was just super burnt out and just tired of like the industry game of it all.
Mm-hmm, sure.
That kind of led to some of those songs not actualizing, but those we are anticipating new music here in the new year, if not this year. So yeah. Dude. It would be really difficult to not, because we're already very excited, and there's a slight lineup change, or not even a change, an addition. So that's made it even more like, truthfully, I've got like my favorite dudes in my band. So it's pretty cool.
That's so rad. I'm stoked. I can't wait. I'll be at the show. And we'll get to, high five and whatever.
Absolutely, man.
So talking about musical process, when you guys are writing, does somebody just show up with a riff, a drum beat? Do you show up with a vocal line, or do you guys just kind of do what we did when we were kids and just someone just starts jamming and all of a sudden something forms?
I think it's a combination of all of those things.
Yeah.
And it's always been like that. But, when we were all younger, we had way more time.
Yeah.
And there's probably less ass chasing. We'd be like, we'd work our 9 to 5s, get off, and then immediately go to the rehearsal studio and rehearse for like 5 hours, and then rinse and repeat, planning for a show or release or a recording. But there's so much music and riffs that, there are times where I can sit down and write a bunch of music on acoustic, but I'm kind of a meat and potatoes guy. I like to go, here's a verse, here's a chorus, here's what I'm singing, but I need y'all's help to really bring the music to life, because I nod my way through it on guitar. I need a real guitar player to really show me how to do it. And so it can start like that. And we've had our bass player write 2 songs, drums, bass, guitars, and then we're like, wow, that's awesome. That sounds like us. Let's finish this. Yeah. So it can go all types of ways, for sure.
Dude, that's fucking rad, man.
Everybody's a writer. Yeah, basically.
I love it. I miss the camaraderie of being in a band. I think that's one of the things I miss the most, when everybody's functioning. And there go my dogs.
My dog's laying on my lap right now. I'm trying to make sure she doesn't get in the shot and start.
Oh, it's all right.
Screwing shit up. Yeah.
We love dogs on the show. I'm gonna edit this part out though, because they're losing their shit. What the fuck were we talking about?
Music process.
Oh yeah, that's the thing I was saying. That's one of the things I like, is the camaraderie you get, and you don't get that necessarily in your work life. You have to work with the person you work with, because you got to make money. But when you're just bros jamming, it's a little different. Yes, the ultimate goal would probably be to make money. That's always looming, I would think. But,
true.
But just getting together, jamming, vibing Oh, dude, like you
Right.
turn the light, like just wait, you're a high school student, you turn the fucking strobe light on because that's the only light you got. You're like, oh, this is cool. And you just
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
There's something about that is not just, it's transformative, I think.
Right.
It takes what you got in here and releases it into the fucking ether or whatever. And it's therapy. That's why I do this show now, is because I don't, yeah, I got guitars and stuff and I jam around the house, but I don't have a band. And
Yeah.
there's always got to be a musical process that you, or a creative process that you follow that helps you release these emotions. And I talk about that in the intro. Music does something to us. It helps you transport through time and release emotions or whatever.
It sure does, man. Little did we know, and I appreciate it even more now. But maybe back then I was so into what we were doing that we'd show up for these rehearsals for 5 hours after a job we probably didn't want to do.
Yeah.
And then we'd immediately click in and we're playing something. Hey, I got this riff. Go for it. Let's put a breakdown right here. Go for it. I'm going to be fucking yelling about this. I'm fucking hyped. Let's play this shit like 10 more times and then go home. And it became songs that became sets that became albums. But doing it now, it's almost like it is very much therapeutic, but it's taking us out of the matrix that we've kind of built for ourselves too. Like we have the structure. You're a homeowner, or you're invested in your career, and then you're writing this music that is visceral, and it's taking you out of that again, and it feels amazing. It
Yeah, you
really
got to
does.
break the pattern, dude. The pattern, like
Yeah,
I'm in
absolutely.
it, and that's another reason why
Yeah.
we do the podcast, because you got to get out of it, dude. I think that's fantastic. I need to start jamming with some people again. Speaking of going down the musical process, what is your process behind writing lyrics? Do you write melodies like when you're watching the band jam? Do you just kind of like hum some shit along and then write some shit out later, or do you you'd be like, hey, I got these lyrics, let's write something? I know you kind of talked about it a little bit about showing up with a guitar and having
Right.
the other guys do it, but is there any other way, or is it that the only way?
Yeah, yeah. So I like to consider myself a writer first and foremost. I've just been writing since I was a kid, and again, it's therapeutic.
Yep.
I love writing stories, poems, things like that, but it is sort of introspective as well. So I've got
Okay.
all of these notebooks, and this started
Yeah,
in
I do too.
Morningside and Lower, where they're like, we wrote this song, what are you going to say? And I'd have to dig into my notebooks, and I would kind of highlight things that I felt sort of were in sync with the music that I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Then as more writing became and I started playing more guitar, I started to sort of, I tend to like nah my way. I like to have a good cadence no matter the lyric. The cadence is going to make me sing, and it's something that I love singing. So I want to be able to sing along with someone. I want them to sing
Yeah.
along with me. But the cadence is usually how that goes. Whatever that rhyme scheme is, somebody can be playing a riff, and it's just very immediate. And if it's not immediate, it's probably because it might be too intricate. Maybe it doesn't seem like lyrics should even be a part of the music in general. But
Okay.
for the most part, it's just very immediate for me. And I've got a bank of words in my head that I'm just like, if I had to be put on the spot, what would I be doing right now? How would this song sound? And I kind of put that pressure on myself too. At the same time, I have songs that I've been writing for years that are still incomplete, and you
Yep.
just kind of go up to it. I think as a creative, we tend to go really fast. When I was young, fast, 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 hurry up before you get fucking old and your knees
Yeah.
don't work
Yeah.
and you can't sing anymore and you don't care anymore and you're
Yeah.
jaded. But as you get older, I kind of realize, creativity and art can be very, very slow. And I've come to appreciate that even more. So I might be like 55 screaming into a mic, but that's how I dance. So fuck it.
Fuck yeah, dude. I love it.
Yeah, man.
I
Yeah.
love it. So when you guys recorded the last album, how was that done? Did you guys do it like how everybody does it now, kind of like at your house?
No, some of it's funny you mentioned that. Our EP, which is a black and white album,
Mhm.
and that has some of our first batch of songs that were eventually changed up. But we did that EP in Montrose. We all lived together at the time, and our buddy Jerry Nettles, awesome guy, he was in a band called The Finalists. He tracked us. We paid for it. Ironically, we lived together, so we paid him, and I think he paid rent. And then anyway, he tracked us. It was a blast. It was such a blast. We recorded the whole thing, and I think right after the recording was interrupted by Hurricane Ike, and then we finished it, and that was probably 2009.
Yep.
Subsequently, when we released that album and a video for the song "Lay Kick," somehow Kid Rock's ex-manager got a hold of it and liked it, and he was like, "Let me represent you guys, try to get you guys a deal, shop you around." And that began the whole, dealing with record labels and managers and things like that, and the real business side of it. We really got exposed, and we got spit up and shoot out several times, and some of those things were consequences of our own, and decisions of our own. But regarding that album was done in a house. There's an album called Dirty Legs that a lot of those songs were also written around the same time the EP was written. And this probably won't get me in trouble anymore, but we had to use the songs from Dirty Leg. We tracked those with this dude named Machine, who's fucking awesome. He did like Head PE, Every Time I Die. He's done this band Post Profit, who are really rad. But we had to track those songs to kind of use those songs to break away from him so he wouldn't sue us.
Right. Yeah.
So little things like that. But we never released those songs. We would play them live, but we never released them. So by the time we got to our full-length album, we recorded that with this dude who's a great friend of ours to this day, named Mike Watts off of Long Island. And we recorded our full-length album at his studio, Voodoo Studios. Nice. And great experience, a very real, professional experience, and hard at times, but a wonderful experience nonetheless. And I say unfortunately, but because of a lot of the decisions that we made, we ended up releasing a full-length after our EP, and then Dirty Legs, which was recorded before the full-length. So it's kind of musical whiplash, because you hear, in my opinion, would be a raw EP, and then you hear this sort of polished full-length, sonically pleasing full-length album, followed by a very rough, ugly, sonically pleasing album, and you're kind of like, this seems out of order. But there were reasons for that, and a lot of them were just simply political at the end of the day.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So compare those recordings to, let's say, that of the Lower sessions.
Whoo. Yeah. I mean, Lower I was straight out of high school.
Right.
And I love the band Lower. Huge band. Ryan Otia, Trey Miller, Chris Gore, Garth, Joffrey, all those guys. We were watching them back when the Abyss was open, and Fitz, and the Mausoleum and Zeldas and all that. And we were high schoolers watching high schoolers who, for whatever reason, I just didn't think they were high schoolers. I thought they were grown-ass men with this badass band. And when I graduated from high school, on my way home from a trip from California, my buddy James Taylor was like, "Hey, Lower's looking for a singer. I'm going to pick you up from the airport. How about you go try out?" Went, tried out. Wow. They liked it.
Nailed it.
But I was as green as can be.
Sure.
Didn't really know my voice. Didn't really have anything other than the desire to be on stage and rock the fuck out and fucking yell at people. So, recording wise, we record at Texas Music Studios here in town.
Okay. And
wow. Yeah.
Dude,
yeah. Old school.
I know who owns that now. Hefe.
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually saw him pull up because he has a rehearsal at Texas Music Rehearsal Studios as well. I forget the gentleman who used to own the rehearsal studios, somewhere out in Highway 3, maybe. I can't even remember. And back then we were recording, reel to reel. We were recording on tape. Yeah. So the experience then was, you can't really fuck up because we only got so much tape, and it's a bitch to edit.
Yeah, you better nail this one.
it was just a different time. I learned every band that I've been in, I've learned how to sing, how to write better, how
Nice.
to be a better performer, how to be a better friend, bandmate, person. So it only evolved from there. I think Lower really, broke me into the scene and kind of made me feel what it was like to suck in front of people
Oh yeah.
and also have a blast with a band that was already established. But
Sure.
that band ended, and then I went and tried to start other bands, and it just
Yeah.
didn't have that energy. So you start to really figure out where you invest your time and energy when it comes to art. How do you do that? I don't think there's a book, even though they try to sell it to you online all day these days. An ebook on Instagram or
Yeah.
something.
Oh yeah.
This is how you do it. There's no real way, and I like to believe it starts with the players.
What are you listening to right now?
Right now, dude. Like I mentioned earlier, Post Profit, an amazing band that my buddy Kenyon put me onto.
I'm going to take notes.
Machine tracked them, and they're like a cross of everything that I really really enjoy. Then a band called Teenage Wrist. I
Okay.
don't know where they're from, but man, every song they fucking play is awesome.
Why have I heard that name before? Isn't that a Deftones song? Oh, that's
No, but
Saturday Night.
yeah, Saturday Night Wrist. They're called Teenage Wrist, and they're kind of like I don't want to peg them as like throwback. They've got the '90s thing locked down. They remind me of all of my favorite '90s bands, but they sing well and they've got it's their own thing. They're just so unique and they just sound special immediately. Yeah.
Okay, I want to check them out.
Yeah, dude. I still jam. What's this band? Oh, fuck. I don't want to screw it up. Stray from the Path is fucking awesome. They're just rad. And I still jam all of our Deftones, Korn.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still into all that. Kind of branched out to a lot of, sometimes a little bit lighter music. There's a band, I think they're called Pinemont, or man, I don't want to screw that up. But man, musically, it just keeps going. I listen to a lot of stuff, but I'm always keeping my eye out for the rock shit, man. Punk, rock, metal, just the new stuff that'll get me hype and make me want to fucking stage dive again,
Yeah, I'm always looking for something that, and I think it gets harder as we get older because we've heard more. But like, let's say for me, like I love 9 Inch Nails. There's Trent up there.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But so the first time I heard Wish, or like, I tried, I gave up. I was like, holy flying fuck, he's speaking to me, and then you hear all the weird noises and stuff, or the way the Deftones did fucking any album, like just even changing drummers, or bass players, because that happened. But like they still were able to come together and make some great stuff. But now it's harder and harder to find things that you can find things, for me anyway, this is my side, you can find things that still inspire you and still sound great, and you're still like, holy crap, that's amazing. But it's hard to find something that's exactly totally new, kind of harking back to what we were talking about before. It's like we've seen behind the curtain, and you're like, but when it happens, it's like, and the hair on your arm stands up again, and you're like, oh my God, I'm still alive, dude. This is fucking amazing.
Absolutely, dude. Pine Grove was the name of this band, and and they're a little bit on the lighter side.
I'd like it too. That's cool.
But it's just beautiful music, lyrically colorful, and sometimes it's just that kind of brings me to a band that I'm like, whatever they're saying is speaking to me, which makes me love the music, because I can fall in love with lyrics just as much as an entire band, or just the music, not really caring about the lyrics or the vocalist. But yeah, man, I'm still like into like Kill Switch, fucking Jesse. Like when we were on tour, we played like with Story of the Year one time in New York. It was like the reunion tour. And afterwards, my buddy introduced me to Jesse, and
nice.
And I was just like, wow, this is super cool. And he wasn't doing Kill Switch at the time, but now he's back killing it, and it's just, I love seeing it, man. It's inspiring to see, for sure.
Yeah, I've seen Kill Switch with both of the guys. I saw Kill Switch open up for fucking Cradle of Filth at the Engine Room. That was a long time ago. And then I saw Kill Switch with Jesse years later, open up for this Black Label Society in San Antonio at River City Rock Fest, and they just fucking, it was the first year Jesse was back, I think. It just
Hell
fucking
yeah.
murdered it. I was like, holy, Kid Rock headlined that show. That's
right. Dude, you know what band I never get away from that I eat up everything they put out is a Glassjaw.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Like, I just cannot get enough of that fucking band. Like, 2-piece, 3-piece, 1-piece, just put some fucking music out, man. Like, I just love their vibe, and they're just unique, twisted enough to always keep my interest. Like, they're just really, really rad, for sure.
Dude, I've never seen them live. So I bought tickets. Me and Erica Lee, fuck, this is a long time ago, went to, and Sal Castro. We all went to go see them. They were opening up for 30 Seconds to Mars, and 30 Seconds to Mars wasn't popular yet. And they were 30 Seconds to Mars was opening up for The Used. And I loved 30 Seconds to Mars, and I loved Glassjaw back then. I still love Glassjaw now. They're 30 Seconds to Mars. I still like them. They went a whole different direction. Good for them, because they're popular as shit. But like, I was so disappointed because Glassjaw canceled, because the lead singer, he's got that thing, and that thing happened, and they had to cancel it. I was so fucking pissed. But I got to meet Jared Leto that night, so it worked out.
Right on.
Okay, so I'm done interviewing. Now I want to talk life, man. Like, what's going on? What do you think of this current state of the union or the world?
Man, the world, dude, it's getting hotter. We were just after practice, we were cruising back to my house, and they were like, it's like, dude, it's hot. It's really hot. I think it's only going to get hotter.
Yeah.
I think we're about due for another hurricane,
Yeah. It is that season.
Yeah, dude, it's all changing. As we're getting older, time seems to shrink. We have less hours in the day.
Yep.
So I feel like we want to put the gas on all the things that we love and used to love.
Yeah.
I don't think the best years are behind us, but yeah, the world is just changing every day. It sounds cliche, but get it in while you can, because before you know it, there's going to be a fucking UFO above your house. Who knows?
No, see, now you're speaking my language. The show talks about music and the beyond.
And beyond, dude.
So the beyond. My next question is: have you ever seen a UFO? Have you seen a ghost? Do you know Bigfoot?
I don't know Bigfoot. I've never seen a UFO, but I keep my eyes to the sky pretty often.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard not to, because you got this computer for a phone, and you're just in there fucking all day. But
that's what they want.
Man, we're not alone. You want to believe, but also believe like they're probably not going to be very nice or care about what we care about.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take it with a grain of salt. Like, all right, kill me, because it's been fun. But yeah, man, no ghosts. Like, my girl is into like the paranormal and ghosts, and she thinks my house is haunted. I'm like, this house ain't haunted by anything except a dirty floor, which you need to get to cleaning.
Dude,
I'm joking. I clean the floors. But yeah, man. I mean, I'd be hard pressed. I have a feeling I'll see a UFO before I see a ghost.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you will. There's been 2 instances in my life, and my audience knows because I talk about it all the time. That there's been 2 instances in my life where I've seen things that I can't explain. And
really,
I can't tell you it was an alien. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was some fucking legit shit in the sky, like in 2 separate locations. One was in Katy, Texas in 1997 with my buddy Chad McKinney. And then another one was right outside of Brady, Texas, about 30 miles outside of Brady, Texas, on my way to San Angelo. And at nighttime, there's just weird lights, dude. Weird lights. Anyway, I don't need to go into it because everybody's heard.
But they didn't make any sense to you, right?
They didn't make no sense.
Wow.
Now near Brady, Texas, there's military bases. And this was around the time, this was right before like Time magazine said like attack of the drones or whatever, and put like the US military drone on the cover. They could have been drones at nighttime, and some fucking 20-year-old kids like, look at this dumb motherfucker. But let's fuck with this guy. I mean, I don't know. I never saw what it was. I just saw the lights and they did weird things.
Totally. I can say that, like, out of like weird things, I do remember one occasion being lost in Philadelphia, like in like a warehouse district of Philadelphia. And I'm not trying to shit on Philly. Like, Philly is old. It's old. So if I say the warehouse district, I don't know. Everything looks like a fucking warehouse out there.
Right.
But I remember we're lost trying to get back to our destination. And me and Kenyon are driving. We're looking around. We look up and there's a fucking ninja on top of a overpass. And he's just peeking out like, and then he just fucking runs off, dude. Full ninja gear, dude.
Whoa.
Middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, dude. And also something strange. This isn't beyond, but this is something that I really believe in.
Sure.
I've had multiple occasions on the road where I'm sharing dreams with my bandmates.
Yeah.
We're asleep, having the same dream.
Yeah.
We wake up, we're talking to each other. We're like, were you just in the mix of this? I was there, you were there, we're having the same dream. Like that's happened several times, which is really cool. I love the dream world. I love how you can kind of navigate your life through your dream world. I love all that shit.
Dude, that's fucking awesome. I love that stuff because like when I was younger, I used to take a lot of hallucinogens and I had, acid, acid mushrooms, whatever I get my hands on. And a buddy of mine, he's a doctor now or a scientist now. Anyway, he, you know who you are. We went on a journey into the woods but it started by, we were laying down in the garage after taking a few hits of acid. And then we went on this journey through the woods and I mean, it was crazy. You know how acid is. You walk like 5 feet and you stop and you're like, what are we doing here? Why is this here? What the fuck is that tree doing? And then you start walking again, you make up new plans. And I guess all of a sudden the trip stopped and we were sitting up in my garage and the end of Pink Floyd, whatever it was, Pink Floyd album we were listening to, it stopped and we were like looking at each other and like, did we just go on this entire journey in our heads together? And the whole time we were like, dude, okay, I went here. Then the tree grew up out of the ground, right? Out of fucking nowhere. He was like, yeah. And then the music started playing out of the trees and the stars started falling. I was like, yeah. And like, but it was like we were laying there the whole time. And then I got up. I was like, dude, this is trippy. I got up to turn the lights on because the lights were off. And so we had just had this hour-long conversation about how everything we had done was in our head and how the fuck, we just popped back into existence. But then I turned the lights on and all of our shoes and feet were muddy. So we had gone on the fuck. I think we had really gone on it, but we lost this period of time. or maybe we did it all in our head and our feet just got muddy by the experience of being in the ether. I don't know, but that's
it happened either way. Something was experienced. Yeah,
it happened. I love that idea of you guys fucking having the same dream. I feel like that's happened with me and somebody before.
Yeah, it must have. I mean, I always feel close to my dudes, and so I wouldn't put it past that's why it happens as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Gabe from American Fangs. Dude, this is so fun. This has been so much fun. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, man.
Your show is August 19th.
19th.
At
White Oak Music Hall.
White Oak Music Hall. I've still never been there. Or is it something we've been to before and they just changed the name? Or is it?
Nah, it's fairly new. I mean, it's been around for a while, but I think it's like 45 in Maine or some shit. But
yeah, okay.
Beautiful venue, man. Awesome venue, awesome staff. Always a blast there.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I'm excited to go. There's also another one in Houston I haven't been to, the Black Magic Social Club. Have you been there?
Dude, that place is rad too. Do you remember a band called Dinosaur Salad?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe that one of their members, John Black, owns that club.
I think you're right.
Club. Yeah,
I was talking to Hefe about that place. I was going to go the other day. The show was sold. I can't remember what show it was, but Hefe and the guys from Six Past Hell were down there watching a show. And I was like, I'm on my way, dude. Are there still tickets? And they're like, we'll find a way. And it was sold out. Right. I don't have the cred anymore to just walk up and be like, I'm Ryan from Razor 13. Let me in. That doesn't work anymore. Shit is long.
I hear you, man. I hear you, dude. It's been fun. I feel like I could talk to you the rest of the afternoon for sure, man. So.
Dude, me too. And and maybe we will after we're done with this, but what fortuitous events, what a great fucking day. And thanks for coming on, buddy. And we'll talk soon, and don't go anywhere. We'll talk a little bit after this. And everybody, this has been The 13. I'm your host, Ryan 13. Thanks for watching, listening, or however you're ingesting this, and we will see you all on the next one. Blah.